So that's just my beginning salami pranams. Welcome to you all. Uh, so today, after some weeks of absence, I'm back with you, and I'm very happy about it. Uh, I think it was the last thing was Guru Purnima, and it was a little dodgy with the Wi-Fi. Hopefully, this is going to be okay. So I have to thank Aditya Srinivasan. Every time I want to thank him, my screen goes away, so I have no idea what's going on with that. But anyway, so uh, one of the questions that came to me again from my very dear colleague and friend from the days when I was a teenager, Shamkane, was to talk about Chanda. Now, Chanda is a subject that's interesting because it has a different understanding in the Carnatic system and a different understanding in the North Indian system. So, first of all, the origin of the Chanda. Again, I've lost the screen, so I get a little confused as to what's going on. Uh, uh, so, Chanda, as far as I understand, are Sanskrit syllable-based rhythmic verses that came back from the Vedic period. I mean, even before the Ramayana or Mahabharata or Puranas were written. So this is way back when, I mean, before BC, before the modern calendar even began. So that's that far back. Chanda, syllable-based verses, and there were quite a few of them, but there were 7 that were prominent, you could say, and they had meters assigned, and then I think the shlokas and padas and all those things that came to us later in the form of the Gita and Ramayana and Mahabharata were then written in these chandas. So these chandas, the 7 major ones, Sanskrit syllables, were known as the 7 birds. I mean, I'm giving you an English translation, but they were known as 7 birds. And the top one, the first one of them, and probably the most popular and most frequently used chanda, was the Gayatri. Gayatri chanda, and we also know Gayatri mantras and all that, and that basically became the formation of Rig Veda. So that was the chanda, and the Gayatri chanda was a 24 syllable verse, which was divided into 3 sets of 8 syllables. So 8 into 3, 24. And so that's where you got your first of the chandas, chanda meters. And then, of course, the second one was Ushni, which was 28 syllables. And that was a mixture of 2 verses of 8 words each, and 1 of 12. So 2 by 8, that's 16, and 1 of 12, that's makes it 28. And then there was Anushtub, which was a 32 syllable verse, which was 8 lines into 4 times, 8 beat things into 4, so that's 32, and so on and on. So it went 24, 28, 32, and 36, and so on and so on. So there were 7 of those that happened, and I have a feeling that and I don't know there's probably no documentation of that, but the rhythmist of those times, who were of course accompanying it, I mean, as a side bar, I would say that that probably explains why we consider Lord Ganesha in North India as the keeper of the rhythm, because he of course was the one who was the inscriber of our books. He wrote them down, so he must have figured out most of those chandas himself and put them in our books, in our and so the rhythmists of those times must have taken uh, uh, parts of it and made it into later on jatis that came into play, like Khanda Jati, Mishra Jati, Sankirna Jati, Tishra Jati, Chatushra Jati, all those. So they came into play. Apart from that, and I think to do that, the rhythmist went on to another set of chandas. Now these were syllable based, the ones I just mentioned to you, so words based. But the others, there were others which were known as gatis, and also their main title was more chandas. And those more chandas were matra based, beat based. And so those were like Ataj Gati, which was 13 into 4. And then there was Sakari, which was 14 into 4. Ati Sakari, which was 15 into 4. Then there was Ashti, which was 16 into 4. Then there was Driti and Ati Driti and Kriti. And they went on to about 20 into 4. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So those gatis or more based chandas may have been the first basic formation of where our rhythm cycles may have emerged from. I'm not sure about this, but these more based chandas are also in the Rig Vedas and the Puranas and Gita and so on. So that's something that you can actually go forward with. In South India, they may have taken this into the Jati system, whereby they took, say, for instance, 8 by 4 may have become an Aditala, and 12 by 1 may have become Ekatala, and so on. And so that's basically my understanding of it. 8 was a common number. And then from there on they developed it. I guess it's a very symmetrical, balanced number. So that is the origin of the chanda. Then we in North India, we kind of took those chandas and created the Drupad ang from it, where the compositions were chanda based. Like for instance, 4 sevens and a 4. So so that's like a chand based idea on the syllable system, and Drupad obviously developed that syllable system and moved it forward rhythmically speaking. We, in terms of North Indian, later on, Pakhavajis and tabla players, kind of combined the idea of chanda and jatis and came up with Geetang, and Khanda Anga and so on. And so all that got kind of developed and mixed in a hybrid form that we now know. Some of us call it chand, some of us call it jatis. Now, one of the interesting thing about mure, matra based jatis, is that it's also one of the main ingredient of it is lagu, and lagu is a very important part of Carnatic rhythmic system. So so it's interesting that there are these things tied in together, and so I'll just give you an example or two of that and see where we go from it. Okay, so din din na dha, din din na da, tin, lost the picture, tit, din din na. 7 by 4. We in North India tried to take it a little bit in a different direction and came up with the jati ideas. Adopted that from the Carnatic system. And so we went to Tishra Jatis and Khanda Jatis and so on. And there are most of us who also refer to them as Chhandas. So here it is, one of the Tishras thing. Let's try some khanda. which seems to be the one that we favor in North India, the 7 beat, what you may call Geetang. demonstration of each. We started with the basic Chhand idea, which was based on the first system, which is the 7 birds system of Chhand meters. Normally they would be 8, 8, 8, 8, and we did 7, 7, 7, 7, and a 4. So it still worked out in 32, but there it was. So then, of course, we did Tishra, Khanda, Mishra, and then Chatushra. So 3, 4, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, and 8. So that's basically my understanding of how this may have happened. There might be other explanations, and so I'm thinking that I will call in a guest if we can get this right this time around to further expand on this and maybe even play, and I can accompany him if we can figure out the latency, and it will all of course be depending on what he's wearing, so I would like to introduce to you all my dear colleague and friend, somebody who I look up to and have learned a lot from, Mr. Ganesh Rajagopalan ji. He's in Chennai. I'm in San Francisco, California area, and let's see if we can connect, that our Chandas meet, that our Jatis line up, and see what happened. I've again lost the picture, so I have no idea what's going on, but just to start with you, Ganeshji, welcome. First of all,
Namaste ji, namaste, namaste.
Namaste.
Pranam.
Thank you very much for being there. If you could get closer to the mic, I could probably hear you better.
Yeah.
Say
yeah.
a few words of wisdom,
Hello?
please. That's one
Hello
word of
ji.
wisdom. Hello.
Namaste.
What's the other word of wisdom?
Good morning, good evening, good night.
I think those words of wisdom have stood very well over the many centuries and millenniums. So again, namaskaram. And
Namaskaram to everyone.
Yenna samacharam, sir.
Super samacharam, sir. What a
Apriya.
wonderful explanation. What a wonderful explanation for Chandas and.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just learning this as we are moving on. So I want to ask you again, I mean, having heard what I said, does any of this ring a bell in your mind or spark a thought that ties it to something that you may have heard before or something? So please enlighten us on your view on this.
Wonderful. What you said was what you said makes absolute beautiful sense, because when you started with the Vedic Chandas, the meter part of it, that was wonderful. The 7 of them, the basic 7 of them, and then coming down, we have in the Natya Shastra, we have the Kautvams, Subramanya Kautvam, Ganapati Kautvam, which are also in Sanda Talam. And after Natya Shastra, we have...
Speaking of Ganapati, I have Ganeshji sitting here on my tabla. And quite a few Ganeshjis are up there, lined up. I like to keep myself protected in this COVID time.
Yeah.
So Kaustubh and Ganesh, carry on, sorry.
Ganesha Kautvam and Subramanya Kautvam were also in Chandas. That's all. It's in dance repertoire, the Kautvams.
In dance repertoire, interesting.
Yeah, and also in the around 4th, 5th centuries, there were the great Saivite saints who composed the padigams, which are Tevaram, Tevara Pan.
So I just want to clarify, when you say Shaivite, in North we may call it Shivites, like Shiva's followers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, those are the ones, Shaivites. So the 4, we call them the Nalvar, in which Jnana Sambandha is one of the prodigy saints. He composed his padigams, in which many of them are Sanda, based in Sanda Talams. That is also there. And after that, what we have right now were Sanda Tala mainly is its famous composition called the Tirupugal, which was done around the 8th century by the great saint Arunagirinathar. So he did. He has composed many Sandatala compositions, and all his Tirupugars are in some kind of Sanda. For example, we have simple ones like in 5/4 and all that, like ஏறுமயிலேறி விளையாடு முகமுன்று ஈஷருடையான மொழி பேசு முகமுன்று கூறுமடியார்கள் வினை தீர்த்த முகமுன்று குன்றுவ வேல் வாங்கி நின்ற முகமுன்று ஆறுமடி சூரரை வதைத்த முகமுன்று வள்ளியையும் வண்ணம் புணர் வந்த முகமுன்று ஆறு முகமான பொருள் நீ அருள வேணும் ஆதி அருணாச்சலம் அமர்ந்த பெருமாளே. So it's
all in Khanda.
Khanda. So the very beautiful part of all this composition is that there are many stanzas. Two main features of this Sanda Talam is that after every stanza there is one tail kind of thing which we call the tongal, meaning falling down.
Okay.
So this tongal is there. This is either will be in 1.5 akshara or 2 akshara. Like 1.5 means it will end in 1 to 3, takita or takadimi or takadimi taka, something like that. So it will end like that, and that's one part of the speciality of a Sandatala. And in the end, when the entire verse ends, the composition, the poem ends, at the last point it will not end in sama. It is not supposed to end in sama. It will end before that.
Yeah, so it continues.
Right. It will not come on sound.
It's handed over to the big spirit up there.
Yeah.
Wow. So are there like are there longer ones? Like this is a Khanda one, but are there ones which are like, I don't know, in 11 or 15?
Oh, there are.
Yeah,
there are quite a bit, and there are also some. There is a very very beautiful, very
on some.
So it will end like that. I mean, it will not come to the sound.
Yeah.
Only in concert performance we end it like like put a tirmanam to it and end it.
So is it to give an impression to the people sitting in the sabha or in the mandir or wherever to now you continue it as you go home or something like that? Yeah, handing it over to you. So that's pretty good. That's in Mishra. Wow. So it goes on further. Like I understand that like the Driti Gati, which is the More based Chhandas syllables, are like 18 words going 4 times, and Ati Driti is like 19 words going 4 times. So when that happens, those then kind of initiate an idea of a talam of that kind of rhythmic variety.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, it may be that we could say that.
Go ahead. I have one chandas here, one Tirupugar here, which goes like this. Tanana tana tanana tana tanana tanana tana tanana tana tanan tanana tana tanana tana tanana tanda tana tanana tana. So that tanda tana is that what we call as tongal, like the tail part.
Yeah.
It'll be there as part of the whole thing.
Okay.
So and then again it'll go tanana tana tanana tana tanana tanana tana tanana.
So that to me appears to be like Ati Sakari Gati, something like 15, and then an addition of like 3 beats or 4 beats at the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this goes like the Shruti Vegu Muga Barana Kodiga Sariye Giriye Maga Yoga Yumogiga Durita Para Samaya Veda Vadiga Yendru Modi Todara Vunara Aridaya Duri Porula Yanugiyanu Boga Manav Tolaya Iliyor Swamiyagiya Nin Prakat.
Aha!
So it goes like that.
Throwing the rhythm player off a little bit. Very cunning.
Tala also. Yeah.
So this is very interesting because I mean, as we talk about this, to me, it's becoming a little bit more clearer as to where the origins of rhythm cycles may have appeared. Now we talk about rhythm cycles in Karnataka system, that there are these jatis, and then on those jatis are based certain way of like Tirupata or what do you call that?
Tirupata, yeah.
For
Tirupata.
instance, you have Aditala, and then you have many versions of Aditalas that go. Yeah. Can you explain that to me? Like, how do you like it? It depends on the composition.
So the lagu part of lagu part is called the different. It's called the.
The lagu is the Triputa. 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 4. So Aditala is called the Chatushra Triputa. Chatushra is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the Triputa will go like this: 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. So Triputa is
Chatushra
2, 2.
Triputa. Yeah, 2, 2. So if that's if we say Kandajadi Triputa, it means it will have in the lagu will have 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the Triputa is this. If you say,
does the Triputa ever change like that, as the lagu did? Went to 5.
No, yeah. So, for example, if we have Kandajadi Jampe, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So it's also 8. 5 plus 3.
So that's 8.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good. So you have to specify that earlier, and then so the mirdangavist or the tawil player or somebody can accompany you in that manner.
Absolutely, sir.
Okay. And then there are many like levels of tempo, like very slow aditala or medium tempo, and how do you specify that? How many columns, for instance?
So when you say aditalam rendu kalai means have for each of the lagu patterns you have 2 beats instead of 1. So when you say in Chatushra Triputa or Aditalam, so instead of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we can do when we do Aditalam rendu kalai, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
So each beat becomes twice.
Twice, yeah.
So
it's the
twice
same
as
thing,
long.
Aditalam. Yeah.
So now I know if I have to tell a mirdangam player or somebody that please play in 16 beats, I could say Aditala Randakala.
Yeah, Rendu Kala.
Kala. Oh, wow.
Kala.
If I don't say Kala, is it going to be a problem?
No, if it's specified, he'll understand it better, I suppose.
So I don't know how much time we have, because normally Instagram has a limited amount of time. But I just wanted to ask you that when you talk about ragams or like the various versions in the performance, like you have things that kind of magnify these kind of rhythmic chandas or play? I mean, would there be a particular kind of form, a music form that does that? Like, say, Varnam.
Yeah, Varnam is very composed,
Uh-huh.
but what we can do is we can do pallavis like Ragam Thanam Pallavi, where is the Pallavi, which is just a one line composition. We can bring that kind of a rhythmic idea to it, because as you beautifully said, maybe these are the ways in which the rhythm pattern developed so much that we have so many talas
Uh-huh.
and angams and all that, like, I mean, so it's easier for putting all these composition into one kind of rhythm,
Uh-huh.
so that it's available and easier to understand and everybody can sing it
Yeah.
or play it.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of one example, which is L. Shankar's Panchanadai Pallavi. Uh,
Yes.
where there are five natais, and they form into a Pallavi, and it actually is Adi Tal at the end. So there are these various element. I mean, I had the great fortune of playing that with him and the great Shivaramanji, and it was or maybe it was with Vikku Vinayak Ramji, the legend. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. So now, should we attempt to play a little bit?
Yeah,
I mean,
wonderful, Ji.
latency,
I'm
delays
ready.
aside, I will try to keep up with you. Love your shirt,
I'm
by
really,
the way. Very nice.
thank you, Ji. Your shirt is much better.
It's a cheap Fab India. This is an ad, by the way, for Fab India. Okay, what are you going to
So
play
shall
for
we
us?
play? Yeah, shall we play something in nine? Like,
Yeah, okay, so it's a
Khand,
great idea because
Khand,
I did Tisra and Khanda and Mishra and Chatushra. So 9 would be a good extension to that.
yeah,
So how
beautiful.
would you count
So,
it for for listeners,
yeah,
for
so
mostly
can
North
we,
Indian listeners?
yeah, for everyone.
We
So,
know in North
shall we
India we are
do,
so dumb, we don't understand these things.
don't say that, Zakir, Zakir ji. So, shall we do Khanda Jati Triputa? That's 5 plus 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Ah, okay. And which
So,
column is it
the
going to
Palla,
be? Oh, one. There's the straight column, not two
yeah,
per beat.
yeah, not 2, 1, yeah.
Okay.
So, the Pallavi will start on the beat like 1, 2, 3, 4. Da na 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 na. Da na 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 da na 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 na.
Wow.
Da 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 da.
So can you please
So can I?
explain to me why is it that when you do the Pallavi like that, that it actually appears to us in North India that the sum is right after, right on the sixth beat, which is right after the 5. It's on the beginning of the 4. Is this the way the form is supposed to be?
Yep.
Yeah. And what do you call that? Is there a name for it?
Maybe I don't maybe
Maybe it's called something like composition to confuse the tabla players.
so the middle part it's more like an aradi kind of
Ardi. Okay,
half
so,
point.
so in Pallavi, you are able to then introduce other jatis and stuff too, right?
Oh yeah, yes.
Oh yeah.
We can do the jatis, yeah.
Wow. So
Gati more like a gati bedam, what we call as gati bedam, because
yeah.
we are changing the 4 into 5, or 4 is made into 3.
Uh-huh. So that
So
comes
we
from the More based chanda system, which is what the rhythmists did in the old days. They took Mores, which is known as matra in pre-Vedic periods, and so More based, and one the beginning of that, the first of those gatis was Ataj gati, which began after 12, which with 13 was the first one, 13 into 4. and then the next one was 14 into 4, which was Sakari, and Ati Sakari was 15 into 4, and Atashi was 16 into 4, and so on and so forth. So it's interesting that it lines up that way. So as I was saying earlier, the rhythmist probably took the More Chanda ideas and created rhythmic cycles and chalas. So maybe this is a confirmation of that. So can I also request you to play a short alapana, please? I want to hear which raga is it?
Shanmukha Priya.
Shanmukha Priya.
Yeah.
Not related to Shanmukhananda in
Related,
Mumbai.
yeah, because it's the same Shanmuga, the Lord Muruga.
Lord Muruga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
We need to hear the drone too, right? Can you turn me down in my headphone, please? वाह।